Hi, I'm Chris Sutherland. You know me from Banjo Kazooie and also Yooka-Laylee. You're watching Amber the Fangirl. Go, huh?
Hi guys, Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. My guest today is not only a voice actor, but also a video game programmer. I've got a big note here, and I'm going to have to try and read most of it off. Okay, right. It's just so much on this. Okay. My guest is the voice of Crunch, Diddy Kong, and Banjo in Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo Kazooie, Clanker, and Napper in the original Banjo Kazooie video game, King K. Rool and Diddy Kong in Donkey Kong 64. And a side note as well, my guest is also voiced Diddy Kong in Mario Kart Double Dash and I think Mario Kart Toadstool Tour, the golfing game, I believe. Is that what it's called?
Could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
yeah. Who else is there? Daniel Carrington in Perfect Dark, Banjo and Kazooie and Banjo Tooie, Banjo and Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and of course Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Yooka-Laylee and the Outhouse in Yooka-Laylee, and of course just Yooka-Laylee in Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible There. My guest is also a game programmer for the following games: Viva Pinata, the Donkey Kong Country franchise, Yooka-Laylee and its sequel, Impossible There, Banjo Kazooie and pretty much all the sequels as well. He was a former member of Rareware, and that's hard to say. You have to put your teeth in to say that. My guest is a former member of Rareware and is now a member of Playtonic, responsible for Yooka-Laylee. That's probably the third time I said that in this intro, but yeah. My guest is Chris Sutherland. Welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Go, huh?
Oh, Banjo. Oh, my. Wow. I mean, like, I wouldn't even be able to tell it was you who did the voices, how modified they are in game.
But wow. They are modified. Plus, I'm somewhat older now than when I did it, so the pitch is probably a lot lower. They probably have to be pitched up to sound a bit more like banjo.
Yeah. So tell me, Chris, how did you get into video game programming? Is it something you've always wanted to do since you were a little kid, or how did it come about?
Yeah, into video game programming is probably when I was in the 1980s. There was a computer called the ZX Spectrum, and I remember starting to read computer magazines and thinking, oh, this is really exciting. I got one of those and then was tapping away, I was trying to learn programming because there were some games then, but not many. So it was a kind of combination of learning programming and playing games. And I thought, oh, maybe this could be a career. And I remember reading, because I was going to go to university, but I remember I didn't know what subject to pick. So I remember reading in this magazine, it's a computer magazine. It had an article talking about, getting into games industry. And it said, oh, you probably don't want to get into the games industry. Everybody thinks it's going to be really cool and playing games. It's not like that at all. And I thought, oh, maybe I shouldn't be getting into the games industry. I thought I'll go to university, and then when I come out, I want to do a proper job. And so I did that. And then at the end, I still wanted to do games. So I applied to Rare at the time. And fortunately, they said yes.
I'm glad they said yes, because
I'm glad they said yes.
Yeah, we wouldn't have got these brilliant games without
so there's
you.
There's probably some advice there for people, I guess, if they read something and it puts them off, but if that's their dream is still there, go for it.
Is video game designing harder than it looks? Program rather, is it harder than it looks, or is it just, oh yeah, it's as easy as it looks?
I guess it's like a lot of things where on the outside it looks like it's very complicated and people say, oh, it must be very difficult, but it's almost like you learn in layers. Like a lot of things that you do where to other people it looks complicated, you start off simply and you learn that, and then you build upon it, and then over a period of time, a number of years, you start to learn more and more things, and they all kind of bolt on. And things that like a few years ago you wouldn't have made sense to me, but over time I can still learn them just by layering stuff up. But that's really all it is just accumulating more and more information and bolting it on and hoping you don't forget the old information.
Yeah. What was the first game that you worked on at Rare, may I ask?
That was a game called Spider-Man on the Game Boy. I actually I started at Rare, and then on my first day I think they gave me a Game Boy to start to tinker around with, and I was looking at that. And then on my second day, they gave me a folder with all this information about Spider-Man and said, oh, you're starting on that, and they'll be working with an artist. And then it was just the two of us myself and this chap called Trevor, who we worked on this game, and it was as if the kind of responsibility they gave us is for just off you go. And I kind of thought going in that it would be more methodical. It would be very much like, in my head, crazily, I just thought of it being like a laboratory where they make games, and it would be like people in lab coats just thinking, is this the best way to move, to press the right stick and move? Or is it, maybe this button is a better button than that button? But actually it was more just, just try it and see what you think, see what you can do. So yeah, it was a bit more ad hoc than I expected.
I see. Yeah, sorry, I was tinkering my light a bit there, because sometimes when I move one way, it then reflects off another thing, and then everything just goes weird. As some sort of disco or something. So I like to talk to you. Right, this game has a place in my heart because I grew up playing this because we had a Nintendo 64. Because I have older siblings who were born in the early 90s, so obviously they grew up playing this game as well. Diddy Kong Racing. Now, what was it like to work on that? Because you didn't just obviously program on that, you also voice acted on that as well.
So it's funny when you reeled off the list at the start, and there are all the different things I did voices on. There's some of them there's quite a few of them I can't even remember doing the voices for, but it's quite possible I did, because the way that worked was, and in fact in Diddy Kong Racing, I was actually doing, I probably may have done voices for it, but wasn't actually involved in the coding for that one, although it probably says on the internet somewhere that I am. But I wasn't in that case, so I can't hold my hand up for that one. But
it's not on my list for game programmer. No, I'd say it just said for voice acting.
But the voices happened because basically back then, I mean, nowadays when you have voice actors in games, somebody goes out and they look for voice actors around famous people that are professionally able to do this stuff, and obviously they are paid for that, and that's their job. That's how they that's they do to earn a living. Whereas back then, because voices were so new in games, the idea of going out to hire somebody for that was almost crazy. It was like, well, we're not going to pay someone to just do a voice. So it ended up basically being whoever was prepared to go into the recording studio and just make strange noises and squeaks. And for some reason that was me. So I often got called in, and it would be a few of us who'd try some different voices, and then they'd pick the one that sounded about the weirdest or the wackiest. So I guess that's how it all started off, and it kind of snowballed from there. Once you'd done a few, then people go, oh, we'll get him back to do a few more, because he seemed to be okay. It didn't take too long to do those, because you'd basically be sitting at your desk programming something, and someone would call you up and say, oh, can you do these voices? Yeah, okay. And go up 5 minutes, do these noises, okay, go back to your desk, carry on. And then the next thing you know, it's the game's released and they're out there. So yeah, it was that's kind of how it worked. It was very just ad hoc, just whenever somebody wanted the noise, that's when we did it.
So I'm presuming this is what got you the gig of voicing Banjo and Kazooie then, or was it just really just a voice acting at Rare in general?
It was. I think it was just because I was on the programming team, and I remember we had, well, that developed because we were working on a game which was called Dream, which eventually became Banjo and Kazooie. But at the time, Dream had this character called Edson, and he was he started his adventure, and I remember that we had to do a voice for him, and he had, I think his voice was something, he had to see that there was a dog that was in trouble, and he wanted to go and help the dog and save the dog, and so he said something like, a dog, I can hear a dog down there, I better go and see if he's all right. So that was him speaking that. Mm-hmm. But then we changed the character of Edson into a bear for various reasons. And then, so I remember Tim Stamper saying to me, oh, what do you want let's work out what we know the noise of the bear is going to be. And he said, oh, maybe it has this sound or that sound. And so I then recorded the line for the bear, and the bear was actually in a Banjo's voice. Banjo never speaks, but in this case he did speak, and he said, a dog, I could hear a dog down there. I better go and see if he's all right, which was kind of a, that's what I thought based on the discussion that he sounded like. So then, but because we added this noise, which was go-ha, in, I think when it changed into Banjo Kazooie, we took out the speech, but we left in the noises like the go-ha. So that those things just stayed in. So it kind of developed in a weird way, really.
Oh, and what about Kazooie's voice?
Yeah, I think there was definitely an intention there to make that quite a bit different. So I suppose it was the opposite end of the spectrum, and she was a bird, and it happened to be that I could just make noises like and that kind of thing. So that kind of thing. So this again, it's just whatever weird noises we happen to try. We probably tried loads of other ones, but those are the ones that came out.
Oh, when people do the voices of the characters they voice, it just makes me smile because, oh yeah, that's what I've heard in game, on the TV, in a movie or anything like that. And I just think, wow, that's the person behind it. Like, you hear all the emotion and sweat and blood they've poured into that voice, and then they're right here, virtually. Wow. Chris, thank you for bringing the voice boxes to life.
No problem.
I'd like to also ask, you were the voice for Clanker as well. How did that come about?
Clanker, right. I'm trying to remember that one. I guess
shark thing in Clanker's cavern. It was
I'm guessing that was, I don't even remember the words, but I imagine it would have been slowed down. So it would have been Grant Kirkhope, who was the musician and also the sound guy who did all the work on that, the amazing work on Banjo. So he would have probably just taken the sample of whatever it was I said, and he would have slowed it down. So I don't think I probably said any particular word that I can think of, but I guess that you just took something and just slowed it down. That's all. He did a lot of those things. There was things where he'd take his own voice and he'd slow them down and speed them up.
Yeah, he's really, I mean, to be fair, I haven't played the game in about a year now, so I literally don't remember what most of the minor characters sound like, apart from the major ones, obviously. Just a quick one. Would you like to see another Banjo sequel game? I know we got Nuts and Bolts in 2008 and Banjo and Kazooie came to Smash Brothers, but would you like to see another Banjo Kazooie game made?
Yes, I think it would be great to be able to see the characters come back to life. I think there's a lot of people who would want that. I mean, you saw the reaction, I'm sure, online to when Smash came out. So
yeah,
there's definitely a lot of people.
I was one of those people
excited.
Screaming and crying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether they maybe want to reinvent it, have somebody else voice the characters now, but yeah, it would be just amazing to see them brought back to life. So I'd be a fan. I'm a fan of them as well. So I'd be willing to, I'd shell money out to see that happen. I'd be willing to buy my copy, pre-order my copy now, definitely, for sure.
Nice. About Nuts and Bolts. So with Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, there was about a 2 or 3 year gap between, but with Tooie and Nuts and Bolts, there was about an 8-year gap, I believe. So how did production of Nuts and Bolts start for you and everyone else at Rare?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually only in Nuts and Bolts at the start of that, because then we moved on to Viva Pinata, but that came about really. I think the intention was to try and do something a bit different, because I know that at the time at Rare we didn't want to just retread old ground and just do the same thing again. Of course, nowadays that's what people would want, is something that's very similar to what those old games were, which is the reason we did Yooka-Laylee, actually. But back then we just wanted to do something different. So Greg Mails, who was a designer, he was trying to come up with different ideas about how the game could be different. And one way we were looking at was the introduction of physics in the game. And at the time there was just physics was a relatively new thing in terms of game engines. And so this had the idea that, you could have the character interacting with the world in some kind of real way, and objects would fall, or you could collect together objects and put them together. That sort of spawned out this idea of being able to build things out. And so I think that's where it all started from, and it all just led from there, really, and it just developed over time.
I see. For Nuts and Bolts, did you have to re-record any lines as Banjo, or did they just recycle lines from the previous 2 games?
No, I think in that one I did re-record them, actually. Yeah, you can probably tell on that one there's some slightly different, although I did do the gahas again, they're probably slightly different in terms of the intonation and stuff. If you're an expert in listening to banjo vocals, you probably be able to spot that. So there's anybody out there who wants to listen to them, there's probably people online who've probably compared them in detail. But yeah, there's definitely a difference on those ones. For the Smash ones, I believe it sounded like to me they didn't, because I didn't even know that. I was like everybody else. I didn't know until the day before somebody told me that it was going to be that announced was going to be there. So I didn't know that my voice was going to be in there, but they'd actually used what sounds like the original samples from Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie. So I think they got those from Rare.
Yeah, because the Star KO sound when Banjo's like thrown into like non-existence is the same sound when he falls from 1,000,000 feet. It's like, whoa, and he just like falls. Like, yeah, could you still do that? Like any of the sound effects, like the falling or getting hit or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean the hit one was probably like I'm just trying to think what it was. I might have to have a few goes at it, because normally I can do the go, but the other one would be like, getting hit would be whoa, that kind of thing. Or I'm trying to think what he did when he fell. Was it something like whoa?
Yeah, kind of I'll have to try and find it. I have voice clips actually, and they literally, it's this website. That's where I got most of your voice acting credits from, behind the voice actors. Right. So you're listed on there. Banjo Kazooie. Here we go. This is you. That's the falling sound effect.
That would be that one, yeah.
Yeah, wow. It's just like every single sound effect that they use. There's about 30 that they used in total for the game. And then you got the sleeping sound effect.
Yeah, they definitely pitched those. They definitely raised the pitch of those ones up. Even when I recorded them, I think Grant raised the pitch. So over time, my voice would have just gone down and down in pitch. So it needs to be raised even more to sound exactly right. But
yeah, let's have a look at Kazooie. Where's Kazooie? Here she is. Sounds like Banjo in some of those. That's the one I remember. Oh man. Oh. This is making me so happy right now. Now, as I said before, I've never played Yooka-Laylee, but it says on Behind the Voice Actors you did the voices of Yooka and Laylee. How do they sound?
Crikey, I'm just trying to think now. I've done Banjo so much. Well, Yooka was a different kind of sound. So the interesting thing is the other thing about the sounds from when the characters talk is the way that's done is not me. Although it sounds like I might be going like so Laylee's kind of a more manic voice, which is kind of she's kind of got this wide-eyed look to her, and she's always a bit on edge. Yeah. So her voice is kind of high-pitched as well, but although it might sound like me making the noise, that's not actually a recorded sequence when the characters are talking. What they've got, and probably it's on some of those clips like there for Banjo as well, there's some sounds which are maybe one or two sounds which are the noise sounds, and they're generated in software. So when it's displaying the text and it's kind of teletype printing them out like that as the text goes across the screen, it's just generating different sounds. So those are combined together. So for me to actually do the sounds like that is it's a bit weird, because I've never say them like that. But yeah, she does a kind of and Yooka was more kind of, that was a difficult one actually, because it was more kind of a that kind of sound. That was kind of tonality to it. And so I'd do those kind of sounds in the recording studio, and then they'd be cut up, and then they'd be kind of patched together to make the actual voice sound right when it's played on the kind of teletype gobbledygook speech.
Yeah, I'm having a look here now. It says, with Yooka and Laylee, we believe they were on about Steve Mails. Steve has captured the spirit of his past heroes whilst introducing the most inventive moves yet seen in any of our team's work. Like a cyborg Indiana Jones, our heroes are equipped for adventure and brought to life by the voice of Banjo and Kazooie himself, Chris Sutherland. So how did Yooka-Laylee come about? Because I believe you left Rareware, and then did you set up Playtonic, or was Playtonic already set up when you joined?
Yeah, so we left Rare, and the guy who started Playtonic, who's Gavin Price, he was contacting me saying, "Oh, we need to, well, let's do this this idea for this, the spiritual successor to one of the games we've worked on before." And so I said, "Well, let's." And at first I was thinking, I'm, not sure. Let's think about it. And then he kind of talked me into it, and I thought, yeah, actually, it's worth trying. So then we were talking more and more about it, and we got together with another person who's ex-Rare, was Jens Restemeyer, and so we then formed Playtonic, and then we got in contact with a few other people who are also left from Rare in the past, and then we kind of really got started in 2015. In February 2015, so just not that many years ago, really. And that's when we just thought maybe there's something to this idea, and we didn't really know if there was or not, but we kind of seeding the idea on Twitter, and there seemed to be some interest, and that's when we thought, oh, maybe we should do the Kickstarter. And then when we launched the Kickstarter, obviously it went crazy, and there was like loads of people just the numbers on the Kickstarter. We were watching the Kickstarter page, and the numbers were just going up and up as as soon as it went live, people were putting in their backing, were backing us, and the figures were just going up and up. So it was it was an amazing experience, really.
Wow. Well, I'm very happy for you. Definitely very happy for you. Is there anyone else at Rare who works at Playtonic now?
Yes, I mean they've got. I struggle to name them all because there's so many of them. But we've got Ed Bryan, who was also the artist and I think voice of Mumbo Jumbo. And there's obviously Steve Mails. We've got Stephen Hurst, who did the environment art for Banjo Kazooie and many other games at Rare. And I'm trying to think who else we've got. Obviously Gavin Price, he's been there. There's some of the other directors, Andy Wilson, who was a producer at Rare, and he's now at Playtonic, and as is Simon Gerges, he worked on Cameo at Rare, and he's also at Playtonic. And Dean Wilson, who has also worked on Cameo as an artist, he's also been there. And I'm Mark Stevenson, who has also worked on Cameo and the original Donkey Kong Country series. He's head of art at Playtonic. So yeah, as you can tell, there's quite a lot of people. So many that I've probably forgotten somebody else already, but yeah, there's quite a lot of us there. But what we're doing now is trying to ensure that there's not just us old people there, because we've got a lot of experience, but we want to kind of still get fresh ideas. So we're always hiring people, and we're hiring new graduates, and it's been great to bring new ideas and new people in and kind of mix them with our experience, really. So that's been a good side of Playtonic.
That's really cool. How about Chris Sutherland? I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, the voice of Gruntilda in Banjo Kazooie. I know he worked at Rareware. Does he work at Playtonic, or? He
doesn't know. He's I think he does some games on his own. He's also the voice of Conker as well in Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah. I was speaking with my brother a few hours before. I was like, oh yeah, who did you pick in Diddy Kong Racing? He was like, I think it was Conker. And I was like, oh, okay. I was expecting Diddy Kong or Crunch or Banjo, but okay. So yeah, it was I can't even remember who I played. All I do remember though is that I always used to go for the hovercraft, because I think it was a plane, a go-kart, and a hovercraft, if I remember correctly. But wow, I need to dig out my old copy of that, because That's just jogged a few old memories for me. So Playtonic, now, are you working on anything else at the moment? Are you working on a new Yooka-Laylee game? What are you working on, if you can say, because I know NDAs exist?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So we can't tell you because we've not revealed anything at the moment, so we can't say what we're actively working on, but we are working on projects. We've had 2 Yooka-Laylee games that have been released. The first one, obviously, and then the Impossible Lair, which was in 2019. And I can tell you we are working on other games. I can't say what's in them, but there's definitely some really exciting things that we're working on. And the company is growing. And we're also publishing games from other people as well. So, we've published a range of games from other indie developers as well. So in terms of what we're working on, unfortunately, I can't say what it is at the moment, but in time, there will be some more information to be revealed.
Oh, how exciting. I can't wait to see that information. You're making me all excited now. I'm going to have to play Yooka-Laylee now. I need to get my Xbox fixed. It's been sitting there for months and I need to get it fixed. But no. Yeah, I haven't had the chance. Well, I don't think it's broken anyway. I don't know, but I haven't used it since December. I unplugged it once, and I don't know how to plug it back in. I'm not a tech savvy person with connecting them with AV and HDMI and stuff like that. But hopefully, I'll get around it someday.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Fingers crossed, indeed. Back to Smash Brothers Ultimate. Now, I know you said you found out just the day before Banjo and Kazooie were revealed. What did you think? What did you think when you saw that video of them, Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, and King K. Rool hanging out? The Jiggy bounces past, they look out the window, it's Banjo Kazooie. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I think because I say somebody mentioned to me the day before, somebody in the press had obviously known, but I hadn't known until they told me, and so even because although they told me, I still didn't quite believe it until I'd seen it. And it was very clever the way they'd done it, so that they'd made you think at first, they give you a hint, oh, that is Banjo Kazooie, and then they kind of with the shadow, and then they changed so it was, oh, that's not them, and you thought, oh, it's not that, it's something else. And then of course that was a double bluff. That was really, really very clever the way they'd done that. I just remember as well the video after the fact I saw online of all those people cheering in, I think, was it New York?
Nintendo New York.
Yeah, Nintendo New York. That was just fantastic to watch that reaction.
It just makes me so happy. Banjo was one of the most wanted Smash characters in North America and Europe, I believe. Most wanted Smash characters. Whilst I have a look at this, I'd like to say what I thought was really cool that I didn't really notice till recently, that it was Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, and King K. Rool. All of them are Rareware characters, and then it's Banjo comes along, who is also a Rareware character. So that was a nice little Easter egg. I saw. Have you managed to play as them in Smash Ultimate yet?
I don't know. I think I maybe have very briefly, but not to any great degree, because I'm terrible at Smash, and there's a lot of people at work who play Smash, and they're absolutely amazing. But I think I need more practice on that particular game. Yeah, I think what tends to happen is I buy a lot of games on Switch, and then I manage to play so far with them, and then something else comes out, and I think, oh, I need to buy that as well. So I'm very much dip into something, and then dip into something else, and then back again. So yeah, I definitely need to do that. But I feel like I probably need to dedicate so much time to Smash, because there's so many characters in it now. It's almost overwhelming. The thought of actually starting it is like, it feels like I'd have to, it's like a mountain, it feels like you look at the mountain, you think, I've got to get to the top of that mountain. So it's like a massive journey.
Spiral Mountain is the selected course that you do get if you get Banjo Kazooie.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, there you are.
Yeah, it's
literally a mountain.
It's like kind of like a game first, because at random points the stage will turn, so you'll see obviously all different things like Banjo's house and the crops and Grunty's lair and the big waterfall and stuff like that. I just had a look, and it turns out, well, the most recent edition, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, it was actually the final character to be added, because there's no more fighters being added. Sora was the most requested character. Banjo Kazooie was second most requested. So
that's good. Oh, so they left the most requested one to the end. So that's
I think so. Well, they said it was due to issues with Square Enix and Disney, because obviously Disney has a lot of their characters in the Kingdom Hearts games. So, I mean, they had planned to add Sora from 2014, which was obviously Super Smash Bros. For the Wii with 3DS, but obviously legal issues caused them to not release it until about 7 years later. But I'm glad both characters are in Smash, definitely.
Definitely, yeah. Great to see them both.
Actually, here's a good question. Now, I know I'm going to go a little bit off topic, but I love to find out general information about my guests. What did you grow up with? What cartoons did you grow up with? What did you grow up watching?
Oh, I suppose in terms of cartoons, I was probably watching things like a lot of Looney Tunes things, or early Tom and Jerry things. I suppose I saw those kind of cartoons. I suppose that's from an earlier age. Those were always on TV, just being recycled, I guess, by the BBC, because that was probably some cartoons they bought and they thought, make the best use of money, so they just recycle them endlessly. So I just remember lots of those. And then I'm just trying to think what else there was. It was those mainly is what I just remember in terms of things that, or like Roadrunner cartoon, like Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner, all these kind of crazy things where there was also ultra violence, but it didn't seem to matter back then that things were hit with hammers and all sorts of weird things. And I don't know whether that would be possible to do that these days. Cartoons, maybe not.
Could be. You don't know. Here's an interesting question. If you had the chance to cast any voice actor in any of your games, who would you cast and why?
Oh, that is an interesting one.
Or it could be a celebrity.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because and in our past couple of games, we've tended to use kind of gobbledygook speech, and so the question would be: would we cast them as their own voice, or would we make them, make some gobbledygook noises that sounded like them? That's a good question. I'm trying to think of something. It would have to be somebody whose voice had a kind of nice noise to it. I'm trying to think of who that would be. Somebody famous would probably be quite good, wouldn't it?
What about Frank Welker, the animal guy from Hollywood?
yeah, or like, I'm just that would work. Or just anybody who's got that kind of an interesting noise. I'm thinking like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something, but he's got that kind of get to the chopper kind of noise. So he could be like go. That kind of noise, maybe. Maybe that would be him. Somebody like maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger. He would be quite good.
I see. Cool. Would you like to see a Banjo and Kazooie TV cartoon made at all?
Yes, I mean, as well as bringing, I think the most I'd like to see is them coming back as a game. That would be the most thing. But yeah, as well as that would be a good thing to have in tandem with that. I think if they because obviously Halo's coming out with its own action series. I think so. It'd be nice if Banjo came back as a game. Wouldn't it be great if it came back with a cartoon series as well? That would be great. Yeah.
Have you, by any chance, met any voice actors or celebrities at all?
Voice actors or celebrities? I'm just trying to think if I probably haven't really, other than other people who've done other noises. There's like Kevin Bayliss, who is also actually somebody else who was ex-Rare, Kevin Bayliss, who's done voices for characters at Rare over the years. And so I've met him because I've worked with him for many years. So I'm just trying to think, is there anybody else? Oh, no, probably, maybe I have, maybe I don't know, maybe not so much, actually. I'm just trying to think, have I met any celebrities? I don't know, I probably will think of that as soon as this has ended. And I'll think, oh yeah, but nothing that springs to mind. No.
Well, that's fine. I'll give you my email after the interview. So if you've got any questions, just email me. I had a really good question in my head and now I've just completely forgotten it. What was it? When you just you have a really good question and then suddenly just.
Yeah, it just goes out of your head. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I say, it goes out of your head and then a second later, it's like, oh, that was it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just remembered it now. Okay,
there you are.
this is going to be hard to ask. Who do you prefer, Banjo or Kazooie?
Interesting. I think Banjo's kind of got that innocent kind of ability to just think, oh, I'll just venture forth and try things. But Kazooie's kind of crazy, a little bit louder and brasher.
And she insults everyone.
And she insults everyone. So I suppose the answer is publicly, I would say Banjo, but maybe secretly I want to be the person who would insult everybody. But I'm not that kind of person. But you know how sometimes you kind of think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to be somebody a bit different? You could say all these things that nobody else would be prepared to say. And so there's an element of that where you think, oh, if I could be Kazooie, that would be great. But then you would never want to be, imagine you were Kazooie, then what would everybody think of you? And then you think, oh, I wish I was Banjo instead. So that's a dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah, they're like two completely different personalities. Like they're all two. You got Banjo who's nice, and then Kazooie who's loudmouth and just hates everyone and stuff like that. Just like her.
If nobody knew, I'd be Kazooie. If nobody knew it was me, obviously they do know it's me. But if nobody knew it was me, I would be Kazooie, and I'd be able to shout at people and say all sorts of terrible things about them. But if they knew who it was going to be, then it would be Banjo, definitely.
Yeah, because Kazooie's insults everyone. She always has arguments with bottles, calls them four eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just remember thinking about the actual game. Some of the references and jokes, some of the dialogue in that game. Wow. Who wrote the dialogue for the game, by the way?
It would have been the designer for those games is Greg Mayles, and so he would have written. I think he wrote all the dialogue for all those games. Yeah.
I remember Grunty's sister. I can't remember her name for the life of me. The one who dresses as in the first game, who's the fairy, like Brentilda or something. They had the whole riddles that you have to learn for the furnace fun bit, and it's just like she gives you these really gross answers, like, "Forgive me, YouTube, don't demonetize me for this. You should see her streaky brown knickers or something."
Yeah.
I was like, oh man. So I was like, who wrote this? Right, wow, this is just British humor at its finest. I love it.
I suspect also there's things in there that maybe if you're writing today, they would be written in certainly a different way, and maybe not quite the same words were used. But I think, you know, that if you think that was written in 1990 something, so that was, you know, quite a long time ago. So attitudes and have changed since then. So the you know, change, the world changes and moves on.
1998 the first game was released, so right, 1997. You are probably right. Yeah, because obviously Banjo first appeared in Diddy Kong Racing, which was the year before, 1997. So wow, I'm just like, and did you hear about Banjo and Kazooie coming to the Switch for the Nintendo 64?
That's right, yeah.
Software with all the old games on it.
Yes, that's really exciting, actually. Really good news, I think, because it brings it to a whole new range of people. I mean, I know for myself using the Switch, I love the Switch because you can just be playing something and you go, oh, I've got to do something else now. You can just switch it off, put it down, pick it up and carry on from where you left off. It's just that one feature is just so great, and you can take it with you. And it's, so I love my Switch.
Yeah. What games do you play on your Switch, by the way, may I ask?
Right, I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna have to find out what games I've been playing. So let's see. I have got on here. Oh, hang on. I've just gone into. I was playing Mario Odyssey actually, but
I love that. I hope that you do a sequel to that. I've been waiting for that for a long time.
Yeah. So apart from that, let's see what I've got.
By any chance, is Animal Crossing New Horizons one of them?
It is actually, yeah. So I've got.
Nice
so before Odyssey, I was playing Metroid Dread. See, and I've got some other. I've got a game on here. I've not even started. I've got Rareware Get It Together, which I've not started.
I've got that.
Super Mario 3D World. I was playing Bowser's Fury. That was good. I've got. Just because Super Mario 3D All Stars, which was out for a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
I bought that the day before it was due to go off sale because it was only on sale for And
Yeah, until like
I
March
wanted to-
1st or something.
yeah, so I think I
Yeah.
bought it the day before it went off sale.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so I got Steam World and so I've got some other games in here as well. What have I got? So it's games I need to be playing. That's what I need to be doing. Yeah. So what else? Luigi's Mansion 3. Yeah.
Such a good
Those-
game, that.
That was good. I played quite a lot of Dead Cells.
Uh-huh.
Like that. Let's see. Animal Crossing. Yeah. Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Yeah, it's got those Arms, and going back to when it was launched.
Oh
Arms
yeah,
program.
Arms, yeah, because Min Min was the first fighter from Fighter Pack 2 to be released. Yeah, I remember that. Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, got a few there to catch up with. Now I've seen those and to get back into that.
That's so cool. I'll have to send you my friend code at some point.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Animal Crossing New Horizons. When did you last play that? May I ask?
Oh, that's been a while actually. I mean, I was playing it quite a bit at the start, but I was taking me a while to get going and get things. But so I don't know where I got to. I probably played it for a few weeks, but I can't remember where I got to, because I haven't played since about maybe 6 months, 8 months. So I think in the previous versions of Animal Crossing, I'm sure when you went away and you came back, things kind of got destroyed, and I'm not sure if that happens now. Hopefully
It
not.
does.
Because,
yeah. Well, it doesn't really. Your hair gets all messed up. You get roaches in your house, and your village is like, where were you? I haven't seen you for the past 8 months.
Oh no. So I dread to go back. That's actually, yeah.
Oh.
Kind of, it'll be a mess. My island will be washed away.
Can you remember which villages you had?
Can I remember? No, I don't. What was the last thing? No, I remember no, I don't remember the names or anything.
If you describe them, I could be able to help you name them, because I know there's like 300, 400 of them. But
right. I don't know. I can't think. No, I can't think of any of the names of them. No, sadly.
What about what they looked like? Were like, what species of animal were they?
Oh, no, I don't. I remember just going into the museum a lot, but that was
Blathers the owl is the guy in
that
the
was the owl.
museum.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember handing over things to the owl quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I remember spending a lot of time digging.
Yeah, fossils and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I play the game daily.
Oh, do you still? How long have you been playing it for?
Since it first got released, so nearly 2 years now.
That's very impressive.
I mean, it was released at the start of lockdown, so it pretty much was like an escape from the outside world for everyone else. So I've played it, and I've got tons of Animal Crossing merch. I've got pajamas, bed sheets, cardboard cutouts.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to my local Smiths, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we don't need these anymore. Do you want them?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So that was nice freebies then, definitely.
Excellent.
Is there any Switch games that are coming out soon that you're looking forward to?
Oh, let's put me on the spot there.
I believe there's a Mario Kart. Not Mario Kart, excuse me. There's a soccer game. There's a new Super.
Yes, there's. Is it Mario?
Super Mario Strikers.
Mario Strikers, yeah. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see that one. I think probably because I got so many on my backlog, I need to kind of clear those out a bit first. But I tend to, yeah, like you say, I'll tend to see something on the store, and I'll just go. Oh, usually if it's a Nintendo game, I'll tend to probably buy it anyway.
Yeah. I like that. I think I'll have it.
Yeah, because I know at some point I'll get round to it.
Yeah. I think that pretty much wraps this interview up. I think I've gotten through all my questions. Unless you have questions for me, I don't mind answering them.
Well, what made you start this video series?
Well, I wanted to really just talk to the people behind my favorite characters, the writers behind my favorite stuff, the voice actors behind pretty much everything I love. So I was like, oh, what if I became an interviewer, like a podcast person? So I reached out to a few voice actors that I already knew. And they were like, yeah, sure, I'll talk to you. And then it kind of just started growing and growing and growing and growing from there. And I've got a few people lined up in the books, and just looking at the calendar because they're all listed, and I'm just so excited because some of them are actually quite big voice actors. So
Excellent.
yeah, so I think doing this has been fun. I would kind of say it's like an escape from reality, you know, when you're not trawling on the internet or the toxic depths of Twitter. You're just talking to your favorite people and just finding out more about them.
Yeah, that's right. It's great to be able to talk to people in the real world rather than, like you say, online, when it looks like everybody's just kind of shouting at each other.
Yeah, everyone's all shouty and stuff like that. Plus, it's better because a lot of people, you're the second British person I've interviewed for this series. Most of my guests are from America, so obviously I can't travel over there. So talking with them virtually, not just because of the pandemic, but because I can't get over there, is a lot easier as well. So
exactly, yeah. Well, I wish you the best of success for the future of your interviews.
Thank you. I'm also a voice actor as well. I did this coin-operated ride. Only 2 models were made, then the company folded. So, so that was just my little foray into voice acting. That was fun. Yeah.
Cool.
Chris, where can we find you on social media?
On social media on Twitter, I am Chris_Suth, SUTH, and you'll find me there on Twitter. I try and respond to tweets occasionally, but or when I get time, but so often it's pretty irregularly, but I will try and respond. Sweet.
Chris, thank you so much. You've been a joy to talk to. Thank you for sharing your love of Banjo Kazooie, Yooka-Laylee, Smash, Ultimate, video games, everything. Just thank you, Chris. You've been wonderful.
Thank you very much. Great to be a part of this interview and great to talk to you.
Wonderful. To you at home, thank you so much for watching. Go check out Chris's social medias and we'll see you around. Bye and cut.